Hey, thanks for joining us today. We're on a mission to find out how a restaurant that opened its doors in 1950 has turned itself into this iconic landmark of Detroit. Scotty's Fish and Chips has a long history dating back decades. I asked the current owner, Harry Barber, to give us a story.
Well, the restaurant started here in 1950. Mr. Simpson, the original owner, had a butcher shop in Log Cabin in Puritan. And when he moved out here, this was the Sticks in 1950. So the one side of the restaurant, he made a restaurant, and the other side he made a butcher shop in case the restaurant didn't take off. Well, the restaurant took off more than he thought, so he closed the butcher shop and made the whole thing a restaurant.
Harry has his own long-term connection to the restaurant.
Well, I started off, my first day here was my first day of high school. And the waitress here was a neighbor, and I lived a block away from here, which I still own my mother's house here. So she said, well, they need some help up there. Well, my father had passed away at an early age, and I always did odd jobs in the neighborhood, so I walked up and I was ready to do anything, and that's what I told them, I'll do anything for you. And they said, great, we like your attitude, we'll hire you. So start tomorrow. So I started the next day, I was 16, and been here since 1966, so 45 years now.
He told me how he went on to take over.
I bought it about 7 years ago. The gentleman who had it, Mr. Gilmore, gave me a real good deal on it, and I needed a job. He says, well, we're not making a lot of money right now. And I said, well, I need a job. He says, well, then you got the restaurant. And it was kind of a handshake, and I've been paying him, off ever since. And but he's made it very fair and very reasonable for me to be able to stay in business, even during the bad economy, low overhead, and he's been very good to me that way.
I wanted to find out what's behind the success of a place that's been in business over 60 years.
I think keeping the old style, doing things the way they were taught to me, and not changing things. My mother always said, if it's not broken, don't fix it. So I've kept the quality and had to charge a little bit more than other people, but I found that my customers are loyal. Almost all of my customers, probably 95% of them, come from farther away, used to live in the neighborhood or have heard about it, and will travel 20, 30 miles to come get my fish and chips because they know it's the best.
Here's what you'll get when you come to Scotty's.
Well, right away you see the homeliness and friendliness of people here, and you're going to get a good meal, and you know that for sure. And I have people that come in and say that they can get something at a fast food restaurant much cheaper, and I said, well, sure you can, and I can't compete with them, but you're going to get a real meal here. You're going to get real food. There's no mixed up fish and there's no frozen stuff. Everything is made in-house. We make our own coleslaw, batter, tartar sauce, cut our own fish, shrimp. Everything is in-house here with the exception of the rolls that I get at a bakery.
I was curious to know what Harry finds most satisfying about the job he has.
Oh, making people smile. I mean, I've always said the restaurant business is for a certain class of people, just probably like it is for police officers or firemen or doctors and nurses. If you don't like what you're doing anyway, you're not going to do it well. But the restaurant business is very time demanding, and you spend a whole lot of hours, more hours than people really believe that you do. And your biggest satisfaction is not the money because the paycheck's not that huge. But you do make a decent living, and you see the smile on people's faces, and it's very rewarding. That's why I've always stayed here.
Okay, Harry, let's show everybody how it works here today, okay?
Okay, well right now we're cutting grilled and baked. We use the whole fish, it's fresh fish in that. On this we try to use about a 10-ounce piece. This is a little bit bigger, and it's a little fat in the end, so we'll trim it a little bit off. Well, if I take a regular fillet like this, I'll cut it up into approximately 3.5 to 4 ounce pieces. In the same way I'm looking at it all the time that I'm cutting it, I fillet it out a little bit by butterflying it, and then check to make sure that there's nothing in there like we did before.
Alrighty.
And I try to make everything even. I try to make sure everything is the thickness, desired thickness that we like, and for the serving size that we serve. So that's basically what I do just about every day is go through, cut fish, and I do shrimp, and we cut our own French fries.
Now, how many pounds of fish a week?
Well, it depends. During Lent, it could be up to 500-600 pounds a week. During the season now, a couple hundred. But things have been on and off. When it's really cold around here, things slow down for everybody.
Right.
When things get a little bit better, it's a little bit better for us too.
And the fish start rolling.
And the fish start rolling. And like I say, once I get you in here, I got you hooked.
Okay, now that we've learned about how to cut and fillet fish and how to candle it, Harry's going to show us now how he deals with the shrimp. So, Harry?
Okay, well, we started it earlier, and we start with the peeling. We peel the shrimp by sticking your thumb in there and peeling it back, taking the shell away.
Leaving tail on.
Leaving the tail on, yeah, it makes it prettier. Some people even eat the tail, but
Yep.
I'm not a big fan.
It's got a bit of a crunch, it's all right.
Yeah, exactly. And with the batter on it, it's got a nice little taste.
There you go.
And then we devein it.
So, the shrimp we're using today are 1520s, right?
Right, you are.
Okay, so tell everybody what a 1520 is.
1520 is 15 to 20 a pound.
So we're getting almost a whole ounce out of each piece of shrimp.
Oh yeah, there's a whole lot there. Then we slowly devein it. We try to cut it in the middle, not cutting the tail off. And when you open it up, you've butterflied the shrimp. And you slowly take the vein part out, and there you've got your shrimp.
No mud vein, clean shrimp.
Right.
Thanks for joining us at Scotty's Fish and Chips. Come on down, we're on Fenkell, 2 blocks west of Lasser, and thanks for joining us and dining in the D.